One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
Is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody, on this Tuesday evening? Big show planned for you. First day back after the holiday weekend. I hope all of you and your families had a great weekend. Not a good weekend, a great weekend. So, as you guys may know, the trial started up again today. And just so you know, I want to be the first one to help prepare you for what probably is going to come. And it's a bit of stark bad news. In all likelihood, this corrupt judge, this insane judge with his corrupt prosecutors is probably going to convict Trump. I know there's a lot that can happen. We only need one, maybe two people to step up and say, listen, we're not going to take this crap anymore. Excuse me. It's ridiculous what's happening. We're just not going to do it. But that's a long shot. And everything we're seeing right now by Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg and Colangelo is that they are doing whatever they can and above to convict Trump. Now, let me tell you something even further, which is even scarier. Everybody knows, I think every single attorney in the world knows, this case will never survive appeal. So the judge knows that, the prosecutor knows that, everybody knows that. So the objective isn't to convict Trump long term. The objective here is to convict Trump in the short term, so that from the next 5 or 6 months, you can hear over and over and over ad nauseum, convicted felon Donald Trump. That's what their objective is right now. Now I'm going to go even a step further and tell you what a scarier objective is. So to do that, I want to share a tweet with you real quick. Let me cough. So this tweet is from Byron York. Boom. And it's Byron York and then the follow-up by Andy McCarthy. Let's go to Byron York's first. The Trump prosecutor, the other crime, need not have been committed for Trump to be convicted. They are breaking rules all over the place. They don't even care. Just intended. All he needed to do was intend to break the law. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be a crime. That's what they're saying. You are going to get convicted of something that may not even be a crime. It does 2 misdemeanors plus civil FICA violation, and voila, 34 felonies and a maximum of 136 years in prison. To which Andy McCarthy, who I believe is a fair guy, he's a balls and strikes guy. He's not a Trump fanatic. He's not a Biden fan. I believe he knows the law. He said the fix is in. According to Byron York's tweet, the penalties for these convictions is 136 years in prison. Brace yourself for this comment. I know it's going to sound crazy, but if Trump is convicted before an appeal can be granted, there is likelihood that they don't let him free on appeal. There is a good chance that this judge can remand him into custody, decide that he's a flight risk. Obviously, he has his own plane, can go anywhere in the world, and say, you know what? I believe that Donald Trump is a flight risk, and I'm remanding him to Rikers, or whichever prison in New York they want to put him in, right now. At the end of the hearing, boom, take him away. Far-fetched? Not from what I've been seeing, not from what I've been hearing from all the people that are in the courtroom. It would be an insane decision. It would be completely over the top. But everything Judge Merchan has been doing has been absolutely over the top. So you say, Barry, that could never happen. Really? That nobody would ever do something like that. Boom. Secret Service has met with New York jail officials in preparation of Trump being taken into custody, according to CBS. They are actually actively putting together plans on how to put Trump in jail and take him into custody. They're making those plans. Why would they be making those plans if it wasn't even an option, wasn't even on the table? Think about that. It's not just convicting him, it's tossing him in the clink. And I doubt a appellate court is going to expedite anything. I think they're going to let him sit. I think they're going to let him just sit there in jail and laugh every single day on the news that Trump is in jail. That convicted felon is in jail and you guys can't do anything about it. And welcome in Dementia Joe as obviously the new president. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that's the plan. Barry, you're crazy. No. Why would the Secret Service, be talking to the jail system in New York about what they're going to do when Trump is taken into custody? I know, and you know, what will happen at that point? Things will friggin' erupt, which is also what they want. They want to see January 6th on steroids. They want to see everybody lose it. And don't for an instant think that Dementia Joe or whoever's handling things won't call out the military to quell the opposition. In fact, at the West Point commencement, he actually said that. He said, be prepared to basically do what you need to do to get people in line. Think I'm lying? Go find it. When Trump said this morning, this is a dark day for America, it's not a dark day yet. The dark day lies ahead if these people actually try to convict him. I can't even fathom what's going on at this point. Further evidence for you. This is Jonathan Turley today, as the court case went really late tonight. He said, prosecutors just said that Trump gave his orders to Weisselberg, who carried them out. Yet he is sitting at Rikers and they did not even call him. Instead, they're describing him as a loyalist to Trump. The problem is that under New York law, the defense was forced to go first, unlike other jurisdictions, that denied the defense the chance to respond to such sweeping claims. It is a huge advantage to the prosecution. So in essence, what the prosecution is doing right now, they're probably gone for the night, is they're retrying the case and saying whatever they want so the jury can hear it. They are making stuff up. They are just out there saying it without any qualms, and the judge isn't stopping them. Here's another one from Turley. He literally said that Trump lied in denying that there were campaign contributions because they were in fact violations. Merchants is treating this all as argument. Argument meaning he's letting this guy retry the case during summations. Even stuff that wasn't in evidence, the judge is now letting the prosecutor say it was evidence. However, Steinglass is making a statement of law that is contradicted by a wide variety of experts. They don't care. They don't care whatsoever. They're doing what they want. They're doing it how they want. And their objective is to convict. Sure, it's going to get overturned on appeal. When? 2 years from now? A year from now? If he doesn't get an expedited appeal? Who knows how long it's going to be? In the interim, this convicted felon may have to sit in Rikers in jail. What do you think will happen if that happens? How do you think people are going to react? Sure, Trump's going to get a bump. Basically, Dementia Joe is in a no-win situation, a complete no-win situation. Here's why. If Trump gets off, resounding win. If he goes to jail, even bigger win. Because people aren't going to take it. Will Trump survive in jail? He's better have some great security, but that's what their plan is. Absolutely, that's what their plan is. So let me go ahead and I got some videos for you. I think you guys know. Before I get to videos, let me get something from you guys. What are you thinking? Okay, here we go. We have a comment. Let me make sure it's working. Click the doggone button. Here we go. And why are they being allowed to continue this joke of a trial? Because the judge is in on it. The judge is part of the scam. There is no mechanism to get him gone. And so he's just letting everything happen. This is all BS. That's what the charge is. Yeah, it's all BS. They don't care. They have lost every shred of credibility. All they care is about getting Trump. That's all that matters. Period. Pray for the jurors. I was going to say that. If you're a praying person, pray for the jurors. If you're not a praying person, now would be a time, not just for Trump, but for the country. If they'll do this to Trump, as he has said all along, they will do it to you. Military is the only way. Then we're talking basically civil war at that point. That's why when he said it was the dark day, I'm like, the dark day hasn't come yet. The dark day is coming. The dark day is going to be the darkest of days when they when they put this man in jail. I can't even recognize this country that we're in. Welcome to United Banana Republic. We're living in a police nation, folks. Tyrants are ruling the country. Yep, they are. And here's what's going to happen in addition to that. I guarantee you. You're going to see people probably like me, probably a lot of other YouTubers, go away. I think there are certain platforms out there that are just waiting for this guy to be convicted, to be called a convicted felon, where they're going to say, you can't talk about convicted felons like Donald Trump. Can't do it. It's misinformation. He's not guilty. He's guilty. He's a convicted felon. You watch. I bet you this thing is going to be long-reaching in terms of what they do. Give me 1 second. My chair is sliding. I got to change my chair button here. And I'll be right. I'm right here. Didn't go anywhere. Okay, that back. It's that bad. I mean, I really think, I guarantee you Facebook does. I guarantee you Facebook says, you're all done. If you're talking about this guy, he's a convicted felon. We don't want that to expose our audiences to that kind of person. But what about the, dictators across the world that we can talk about? Yeah, it's different. You people who believe in Trump are now shown to be enemies of the state, and we're going to have to turn you all off. Far-fetched? Well, I bet you if you think that's far-fetched, 5 weeks ago, you didn't think that Trump could be tried and convicted on charges that don't exist. But here we are. Here we stand. One, I think the Democrats are making a couple of tactical mistakes. This judge is making a bunch of them. The United States isn't a democracy, it's a corporatocracy. Good saying. Let's see. Hey, thank you, Chris. Thank you very, very much. You don't have to do that, but I really, really appreciate it. By the way, this doesn't cost anything, but you could do this to pay some fees for me.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
Can convicted felons have weapons in their house? I think as a convicted felon, having never been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor, you may not be allowed your person to have a weapon, but I'm not sure if you can have weapons in the house. God is bigger than this situation. God has the final say, so this judge in New York will answer for the wrong verdict. Yes, I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, that God will intervene and do something, and New York may end up paying some sort of a price. Where Judge Merchant is going, money can't save him. Man. Have you seen the amount of money that's pouring into his daughter? Talk about corruption. I mean, it's $100+ million. You've got Democrat politicians writing 7-figure checks to her. She doesn't do anything. Yeah, she's got a media agency. So what? Do you know how many media agencies around the country? They don't see anything wrong with them basically using her to consult while her father is overseeing Trump's trial. It's horrible. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Who's this? Regina. Thank you very much. Convicted felon. He can't have a weapon. I understand that. But I don't know if you have protection. If they try to take away his Secret Service protection, that would be a bridge too far. Because at that point, I think you're going to have people. You're going to have people lining up to say, we'll go protect him. But they won't let anybody into jail, so who knows? Nina Frank says, it's been clear from the start they're going to convict him. The jury is all bought and paid for. It's going to backfire, though God works in great ways. Now, I understand I saw a comment, but it went by too fast. Somebody said, aren't there 2 lawyers on the jury? Yes, there are 2 lawyers that are sitting on the jury. Are these guys going to risk their credibility, their livelihood to convict Trump? I would say no, but are they also going to risk what may happen to them if they don't vote for Trump? Can you imagine you're on that jury, you're in a business, especially as a lawyer, and you convict or decide not to convict Trump? Well, all of a sudden, all those eyeballs will now go on you. And who knows what they'll do. Maybe they'll try to disbar him and do all kinds of things. This is so dirty at this point. Who knows what they're saying or doing to these jurors? They're not sequestered. They go home. People probably know where they live. Who knows? Bags of cash maybe falling under porches. I don't know. I'm not saying that, so you guys up there, don't worry. I'm not accusing anybody of being on the take. I'm saying we don't know. We don't know what's happening with these jurors, which is, it's amazing. They are trying to pass the nonviolent felons can still have their gun rights, I believe, but it ain't going to happen before next couple weeks. This thing will be over probably in a week, at most, 9-10 days. Oh, Barry, that's not going to work out good. I don't think it's going to work out good either. I think we're going to see people just lose it. Absolutely. I mean, understand this. I believe that if they do convict him, the numbers will shoot up. I'll vote for him. As I said in this picture, when I put it up, I said, even if they convict. And I meant that meaning, what are you going to do if they convict him? And my thing is, if they convict Donald Trump and put him in the jail, me, my wife, people I know, we're all still going to vote for Donald Trump. I don't care if he's a convict. Don't care. We all know it was fraud. We all know this was BS. I just wonder where you stand. Are you going to be able to basically continue to support Donald Trump? Because the pressure will be immense. You won't even be able to turn on the news. Don't turn on CNN. Don't turn on MSNBC. It's a shit show. And they will do everything possible that they can to make sure you know and everybody else knows that this guy is a convicted felon. So when I said that the Democrats made two mistakes, one was even bringing his case, today showed some desperation. I mean, some absolute desperation. I did a video on it earlier. It was a long video. So this one, I want to get to it and let's go over it a little bit here. This is, and we'll talk about it. This is Robert De Niro. So if you haven't seen the video, you're in for a treat here. Tell me if this doesn't smell of absolute desperation to you. Why would they even do this press conference? Why would you send Robert De Niro out to do this? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. You called him a surrogate. Hey, he's one of our surrogates for the campaign. He's going to go out there. You just erased any shred of anybody who believed that this might have been a non-political thing. But now we understand they did this press conference and then Biden's going to do another one. This is 100% political and they have confirmed it. So without further ado, we're going to talk about this. Let's take a look.
I mean, this is really, even these people over here are it's kind of crazy. It's really crazy. And this thing, Donald Trump has created this. He should be telling them not to do this, but he's just, he wants to sow total, he wants to sow total chaos, which he's succeeding in some areas and places to do. Anyway,
the words that he just took, he chose to use. And I didn't pick up on it when I first looked at this video. And he said, Donald Trump should tell these people not to be out here protesting. Hey, Bobby, has Biden told the protesters on the college campuses? Has he ever told Antifa? Have you ever had a problem with all the protests that have gone on all the way back to Sir George? Have you ever said Biden should tell these people not to do it? Why haven't you? Why is it okay for everybody else to protest except Trump supporters?
Beside all that, this is my neighborhood, downtown New York City. I grew up here and feel at home in these streets. I feel comfortable.
If you feel that comfortable, I didn't pick up on this earlier, if you feel so comfortable walking down the streets of New York City, why do you have not those two guys behind him, but there's two guys off screen? Why do you have these big bodyguards? Why do you have bodyguards who are probably armed walking with you through these comfortable streets of New York City? Nobody asks. If you feel so comfortable, you're telling them a lie. You're not comfortable walking down the streets of New York without your bodyguards. You're a big man. You're Mr. Hollywood. But you will not walk down the streets of New York without bodyguards. But then again, now you're probably going to need them.
The Twin Towers fell just over here, just over there. This part of the city was like a ghost town. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists to change our way of life. And we started the Tribeca Festival to bring people back. I love this city. I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world.
So Donald Trump is basically like a terrorist. He wants to destroy New York City. He wants to destroy America. And he wants to destroy eventually the world. I'm not sure how many buildings have your name on it, Bobby, but I'm pretty sure when you were talking about these different streets that you can walk around on, you're going to run into a few that have Trump's name on them. So if he wants to destroy New York City, you are in essence saying he wants to destroy the properties that he owns, the flagship properties in New York City that are across the skyline. You're saying he wants to destroy them. How can anybody possibly take you serious? How can anybody think that you have New Yorkers' best interest in mind? Destroy New York City? Destroy America? Destroy the world? Dude, you're getting high on your own supply. It just doesn't make any sense to anybody.
But we vowed we would not allow terrorists.
Second time you said that.
I owe this city a lot. And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across the street.
This guy is a Hollywood actor. Until recently, last couple years, he was one of my favorite actors. As many of you know, I absolutely love the Godfather movies. I've watched so many of them. I know basically a lot of the lines by heart. This guy is a consummate actor. I can't take that away from him. Why are you reading off of a page? If you feel this strongly about the city of New York, why can't you just tell people about your feelings? Why are you reading a script? I'm doing this live, just as you were doing that press conference live. I talk to people in the commentary, live, no script, no delay. Why can't you discuss what you really feel live, without a script, without a net? Don't use cheat sheets. Get out there and basically stand up for what you believe without having to read it. Because I don't think you believe what you're saying. I think you're lying through your teeth.
Because he doesn't belong in my city.
As I said in my earlier video, what do you mean your city? As I said, he's got buildings with his name on it. So if it's anybody's city, it's more his than yours, Bobby.
I don't know where he belongs, but he certainly doesn't belong here. We New Yorkers used to tolerate him when he was just another grubby real estate hustler masquerading as a big shot.
Whoa. So Donald Trump, depending on who you believe, may be worth $4 billion, maybe $5 billion, maybe $2.5 billion. A grubby hustler. This guy has TDS up to here. There are a lot of hustlers in New York. There are a lot of hustlers down here in South Florida. There ain't many hustlers who have billions of dollars, unless you're like Bernie Madoff or somebody like that, or that crypto guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever his name was. To call Donald Trump a grifter or a two-bit hustler for what he's done in New York City is an insult to New York City, as far as I'm concerned.
A two-bit playboy lying his way into the tabloids, pretending to be a spokesperson for himself.
So he was playing the media. So Bobby, how many things have you done for money pretending to be somebody else? I'm pretty sure over the last, 25, 30 years, you have pretended quite a bit to be somebody else. Why are you pointing fingers? You have done exactly the same thing. What did Dementia Joe and his administration do to make you come out here and basically kiss the ring for them?
He was calling it as himself for himself, to fool the press into inflating his net worth. A clown. But this city is pretty accommodating. We make room for clowns.
Obviously, you're still there.
We have them all over the city. People who do crazy things in the street, we tolerate it. It's part of the city. It's part of the culture. But not a person like Trump who will eventually run the country. That does not work, and we all know that.
No, as I said earlier today in my video, no, we all don't know that. Many times I've spoken here and have said to you people watching, we're okay with sub $2 gas. We're okay with sub 4% interest rates. We're okay with grocery prices the way they used to be. We're okay with boys playing boy sports and girls playing girl sports. We're okay with all that. If that makes him a clown, then sign me up to get in the circus. Because, oh my God, you people are so friggin' detached. You got millions. You don't have to deal with people on a lower level, Bobby. You have completely forgotten what most New Yorkers are going through. Most New Yorkers aren't walking around with bodyguards. Most New Yorkers aren't in a penthouse in Tribeca. You have completely lost touch. The same thing with the Biden administration.
Anyway, we make room for clowns, to each his own. But no one takes him or took him really seriously. They take him seriously now, of course. But around the country, people...
By the way, you can hear the people in the background, and they're saying all kinds of stuff. I mean, thank God it's kind of muffled, because they were saying some, let's go Brandon, but the real words, and you're screaming at him. And that, as you're watching De Niro read his way through this script, you can tell they throw him off his game. This guy is an elite Hollywood actor, A-list, top A-list. He's not used to people heckling him. He's not used to not getting his way. He's not used to people saying, you're an MFer. We don't care what you have to say, Bobby. Your words mean nothing here. He doesn't like that. He's definitely not used to it.
Who didn't know him as we did started to support him. They bought into his bullshit.
He's not even comfortable reading the words he's saying. You can see he's gulping. He's having to look down. These people are yelling at him. They're throwing him off his game. This is not the comfy space. This isn't the safe space that Bobby De Niro is used to.
Trump bought their votes with outrageous lies and empty promises.
I'm pretty sure everything he said he actually tried to do, and we're pretty happy with that. We were until Dementia Joe, just on his first day, decided he was going to just rip apart a bunch of what Trump had put in place.
He got the most religious evangelicals to applaud a sinner.
Now, see, that was something I really got pissed off at. De Niro is supposed to be a Catholic. He understands that evangelicals basically getting behind a sinner is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to embrace people who have lived in sin and try to help them change their lives. We don't shun them. You have to give them the chance, the encouragement. You have to proselytize to them. You have to bring them the word, and then you help nurture them through that word. I don't think Bobby understands that, and he's Catholic.
Who bragged about sexual assault, and just a couple of blocks from here, a jury found him liable for sexual abuse.
And I love how they always talk about these trials that are completely fake. That woman's not going to collect a dime, not a single dime from Trump. It's not going to happen, but it allows them. So you're seeing what the plan is. If they can keep saying this kind of stuff about the E. Jean Carroll stuff, they're going to keep saying this convicted felon about Trump. He's so frustrated.
Somehow he even got self-styled patriots to support a man who called for terminating the Constitution.
You know that's a lie. You're watching this channel, so you know that's a lie. You know someone wrote that on a piece of paper and he just read it, and he's having to read down, and nobody calls him out and says, hey, what are you talking about? When did he say, we were going to tear up the Constitution?
And on January 6th, rallied an angry mob to threaten democracy, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
I can't say it, but you know what the answer to what he just said is. I'm not allowed to say that on this platform, but you guys know.
That's why I needed to be involved and wanted to be involved in the new Biden-Harris ad, because it shows the violence of Trump and reminds us that he'll use violence against anyone who stands in the way of his megalomania and greed. But it's a coward's violence. You think Trump ever threw a punch himself or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way. He doesn't get blood on his hands. No, he doesn't. He directs the mob to do his dirty work for him.
Have you been told to go do something? I'm pretty sure I didn't get that memo where I'm supposed to go out and basically do some violence on behalf of Donald Trump. Never, ever heard that before, but somehow in the circles that he goes in, yeah, he's heard that.
By making a suggestion, an inference, and his gang grovels and follows his obvious order.
We're all like this. We grovel. This dude is standing up there and insulting over half of the country. Doesn't even think twice about it. We're all scumbags. We're all grovelers. We're all clowns. We don't matter to him. I want you to think about that. People in Dementia Joe's administration, Kathy Hochul in New York, they just think, as Hillary said, we're all deplorables. We are unworthy. We are people that are so far beneath them. So of course they feel if they convict Trump and put him off in Rikers Island that, they won't have to worry whatsoever. He's gone. He's done. You people are going to have to deal with it. Go away. Be quiet. It's over. Little do they know.
It's no surprise that the murder rate and other violent crimes peaked under Trump and are falling under Biden.
I don't even know how he got that out of his mouth. Especially if he picked up a newspaper or scrolled on his phone and checked out what happened in Chicago over the past weekend. Complete lies. I don't even know who he's speaking to. As one person said earlier, they think he was speaking to an audience of 12 or 18, the jurors, and maybe that they'll see this later on, which is why I'm going over it again. Maybe one of these jurors will go ahead and click a button and click on this video and see what I'm saying and what you're saying in the comments and say, wait a second, this isn't right. This is all BS. None of this is true. It's not true.
And now he's promising to use our own military to attack U.S. citizens.
Again, he is channeling Dementia Joe. Dementia Joe went to West Point and told these guys at West Point as they were graduating, get ready to guard America, protect America from enemies foreign and domestic. Be prepared because of what might happen because of Trump. That was Dementia Joe you're talking about. You're reading a script where you're talking about the guy you are supporting.
That's the tyrant. That's the tyrant he's telling us he'll be. And believe me, he means it. When Trump ran in 2016, it was like a joke.
To who? It wasn't a joke to me. I know you guys took it as a joke.
This buffoon running for president. No, never could happen. We'd forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators.
Now, as you're watching this, I want you to remember something. This is a political campaign for the president, a presidential campaign. They sent this guy to New York to stand out in front of the courthouse and make this speech. Unless they are complete idiots, what he's saying had to be vetted by a number of people. A number of people had to read over this script and say, yes, he can say that. Yes, he can say that. So in my mind, that makes it even worse because that tells me that Dementia Joe's people said, hey, Bobby, go out and say this. And Niro, maybe he didn't read it the first time, and maybe he's just looking at it himself for the first time. And he's just spewing this stuff that the Biden-Harris campaign told him to say. That, to me, is really, really scary because he's uttering words that somebody else has written.
With Trump, we have a second chance. And no one is laughing now. This is the time to stop him by voting him out once and for all.
Now, when he said that, it made me think maybe Trump is not going to get convicted. Maybe because the fix is in. Maybe they've heard, I don't know, maybe they've heard from some of the jurors. Maybe they've got a plant in there who's saying, hey, man, he's not going to get convicted. Because one of the things I thought about was, why would you send this guy out to give this kind of speech? If it's in the bag, that doesn't sound like an in the bag speech. That sounds like an, oh my God, we got to do something before they go ahead and vote, because it looks like maybe our inside sources are saying that he might get off on this, either with a hung jury or an acquittal, because this seems hastily put together, and it also seems desperate. This doesn't look like a smiling person and going, you know, we understand what's going on in this country, and you've got this candidate, Donald Trump, who's in a lot of trouble, but we're here to fight for you Americans. We're here to do the right thing. No, you're trashing Trump. They're not standing up and saying, I'm doing everything I can to help the people over in the Middle East get some peace. I'm here to help, you know, Dementia Joe is going to help lower your gas prices. We understand. Bobby D. I'm Bobby D. I understand that grocery prices are high. Dementia Joe and Harris are going to do everything they can to lower your grocery prices. Nope. Not a word. This video is like 9 or 10 minutes long. We're almost through it. And he doesn't say anything encouraging to anybody. That I thought was just very weird. How do you, as a presidential candidate, send a surrogate out to talk about your presidential campaign, and the only message that you put out is that Trump sucks? That's it. He goes through this entire thing, and Trump sucks. Trump sucks. Trump sucks. And those of you who vote for him, you suck. Over and over and over again. It's mind-boggling to me that a presidential campaign would have this guy go out with this script and have it broadcast internationally for everyone to see.
We don't want to wake up after the election saying, what, again? My God, what the hell have we done?
That guy used God and the other word in the same sentence. Tells you a lot about him.
We can't have that happen again.
Who's we? Remember, this is a scripted speech that someone in the Biden-Harris campaign gave to him and said, go out there. And he's saying, we can't have this again. It can't happen. Well, what do you mean? You're obviously not talking to me. You're obviously not talking to the people who are watching this video. Who are you talking to? Because the people that are on Trump's side are completely turned off, and you don't seem to care whatsoever.
Yesterday was Memorial Day. It's a good time to reflect on how Americans fought and died so that we may enjoy the freedoms guaranteed to us by a democratic government.
Freedoms, thank you for saying that. The freedoms that those people died for, the freedoms that those soldiers went through and went to France and wherever across the world and died for, are being eradicated, completely erased by people like Dementia Joe. As I've said in many of my videos, when I have to mince words because I don't have the freedom to say what I really want to say. You can't say it here. You can't say it on Facebook. Only on X, Twitter, can you say what you really want to say. Freedom? Freedom? You really brought that up when everything we're seeing from the Democrat Party is to try and limit freedom? What freedom are you specifically talking about? I can't figure it out.
A government that, as President Lincoln said, of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
But it's perishing in front of our eyes. And Bobby De Niro doesn't even speak to it. He doesn't speak to all of the things that have been happening without regard for the well-being of America. He's in New York. He says he walks the streets of New York. Do you want to walk over into some of these neighborhoods and see what's going on and how some of these people are living? You want to see what they're doing to themselves? You want to go to the hotel that AOC did her speech in front of, where people were screaming and going, why are you spending all this money on these newcomers when I can't feed my family? You want to go talk to those people about government for and by the people?
Under Trump, this kind of government will perish from the earth.
Again, Such negativity. He doesn't say what you're going to do to prevent your candidate, your chosen candidate that you're standing for. What is your candidate going to do to protect the American way of life?
I don't mean to scare you. No, wait, maybe I do mean to scare you.
No, you don't scare us. See, that's just the problem. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to scare us. We already know, we've seen, we've lived through 3.5 years of Dementia Joe. We understand what he's all about. It is scary. And it's scarier if you try to take Trump out the equation.
If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye.
You really believe that? I think everybody watching this video knows that's completely the opposite. If Trump doesn't get into the White House, the few freedoms we have left are going to evaporate, be gone. They can't wait to usher in like digital currency so they know every single cent you were spending, be able to turn you off possibly. They can't wait to just make you shut up. They can't wait.
We all take for granted. And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
You see this? Again, this was written by somebody in the Biden-Harris campaign. Knowing full well after the last election, what happened? Oh yeah, Trump left.
You know that. He will never leave. What does that mean?
It means desperation. You guys are desperate. You have no clue. You have no message. Even James Carville said it. Your message is shit. You have no message but fear and again, the boogeyman in the closet.
Is that the country we want to live in? Do we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life?
Now, the noise you hear in the background is somebody triggered their car alarm to go off to make it even more difficult for him to speak.
I hope this new ad campaign reaches outside the bubble to remind supporters of what a danger he is to our lives.
So are you going to run an ad campaign directed at Trump supporters and try to convince Trump supporters that he's a danger to their lives? Because if that is the case, you're going to lose a bunch of money.
This is not a threat. This is a reality. And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president.
Do you know that some of his movies now come with a disclosure, a disclaimer on them? If you go ahead and look at some of the older Godfather movies and they have disclaimers on them, they will say stereotypes about women and stereotypes about the Italian people. There's all kinds of, some of the stuff they've actually deleted. There's a part in the Godfather 1, when after they tried to kill Vito, and all the families get together and they try to make some peace. And one of the guys says, no drugs. If you're going to do drugs, keep it in the CP, where the colored people are, because they're animals. He actually said that. Watch that movie and see if you can find that phrase today. His own movies are being censored.
Really? We don't have a choice. On January 6th, while Republican lawmakers despicably tried to keep the loser Trump, in the White House, and Trump-inspired insurrectionists stormed the Capitol,
I can't even speak to that.
brave men and women from law enforcement put their lives on the line to defend this country, our democracy. They are the true heroes.
All right, so this is where it gets good. I want to set this up for you. Somebody, one of the reporters in attendance to this press conference has gotten to this point and has had enough. He has, I don't know what news network he works for. I can't even guess. Nobody has said who he is. But he looks De Niro in the face and calls him out right now. Talk about bravery. This guy looks De Niro in the face and it completely completely causes De Niro to go into a meltdown.
These guys are the true heroes.
And those two guys behind him, one of them was a cop and the other one is from Capitol Police, who've been proven to be basically perjurers and liars, and their story in front of the hearings and everything else came out. I don't want to get into the J6 hearings, but listen to what this guy says.
They stood and put their lives on the line for these lowlives, for Trump.
So he just called Trump supporters lowlifes. He's gone off script here. He's pissed off. He can't contain himself anymore. That's not in the script. You can look at his face. He's pissed off. And now it's really oozing out. So this is the Biden campaign sent this guy out to represent them. And he just said, you are lowlifes. You lowlife people. Imagine that. A presidential campaign hired or got this guy involved and said, go make this speech. And he completely melts down. And it gets worse.
They lied under oath.
They lied under oath.
So this reporter, as De Niro is talking about how these guys are heroes, I don't know if you heard him, he goes, they lied under oath. And De Niro's like, they lied under oath?
Right. Who lied under oath? What are you telling me?
Those two traitors lied.
Excuse me?
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Those two traitors behind you.
They lied under oath?
That's right.
What are you saying?
They're traitors.
They're traitors. You gotta, I don't know, I don't even know how to deal with you, my friend. I don't even know how to deal with you.
He lost it. He completely lost it. What are you saying? What are you trying to say? You talking to me? I'm Bobby effing De Niro. I don't even know what to say to you. He completely lost it, melted down. I hope the Biden-Harris campaign didn't spend too much money because he just torched you. He just absolutely torched you. So that's enough with him. It's over with. He said what he said. People see it. I've got to hear some of what you people think. Yeah. I missed it. Somebody said that it was the real taxi driver. LOL. Yes. Yeah. That guy said it. He said traitors. He didn't know that. Nope. He didn't know it. Their lives are on tape. Videos of where they really were. He didn't have any clue. They sent De Niro, a Hollywood elitist, out to fight this battle, and he didn't even know anything about what had happened with these two guys behind him. Now he's saying are heroes. Absolutely crazy. You can't handle the truth. Absolutely right. De Niro doesn't know how to handle blue-collar life. He just unbelievable. He didn't even want to talk about it. Robert De Niro to star as Joe Biden and Meet the Kid fires. Oh man, you guys are so funny, so funny. This loudmouth thinks he has celebrity privilege. Absolutely. Do me a favor, guys.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
It's just so bad. I don't know why they would have put him out there. It doesn't make any sense to me why they would have put Bob De Niro out there. I can't even believe he put himself out there. CIA had tapes on De Niro. Interesting. I heard that he used to frequent a certain island that shall remain nameless on a YouTube stream. If you know what I mean, and I think you do. So you may be correct. I don't know. When he's done with his speech and walks out, they just, that's coming. Okay, yeah. So I've got to continue with that video. Okay, so yeah, it gets to be even better because they go absolutely nuts on him. So I was going to cut it, but I forgot about that part.
They stood there. They didn't have to. And there were other ones in there who probably were in with them a little bit too, and they found a way to get around. Not these guys. They stood there and fought for us, for you. For you.
Well, they weren't fighting.
Okay, that was on my video earlier that I posted. I included all of the people because I didn't want to put it here because, oh my God, they just went after De Niro. They screamed at him. They swore at him. They just called him scum. They just said, you're not a true New Yorker. It was really, really dirty. So if you didn't see my video, you can go ahead and fast forward to that part and you can see it. And then the best part about it was, as he's walking away, he gets in his limo and the guys floor it and get him out of there. They just couldn't take it. They had to get him out of there. It was funny. They puked it. They puked him out. Yeah, he had to run. He had to actually get out of there. Dunn lost his election. There was another guy big guy was there for being a Democrat puppet. Yep, he did. Play it again. I can't play it again. Start drama queen Niro. So that's the guy they put out there. They put him out there to basically read that script, and I don't know how they would have how they didn't realize what was going to happen. Bobby De Niro is known in Hollywood for having a short fuse. He gets all kinds of pissed off, and obviously his status in Hollywood, nobody talks back to Bobby. He's the man. He's up there. All right, so this next one I want to show you, the rest of them are pretty short. They're like minute-long clips. Alan Dershowitz is talking about what he saw at the hearing, which gives us Trump supporters even more concern.
In court. And if the past is prologue, you can expect an extremely unfair instruction biased in favor of the prosecution and against the defense. And so even though this is the weakest case in my 60 years of experience, having done hundreds of cases, perhaps more than any living lawyer, maybe any lawyer in American history, private lawyer, I've done more criminal cases. Taught them, wrote about them, litigated them, argued them on television. I have a whole series called Great Trials where I write introductions to over 100 of them. Something I really know pretty well. There has never, in my experience, been a weaker case than this one. Never. I've never seen a weaker case.
Never. In his 60 years of being an attorney, has he ever seen a case this week? It should never have been brought. That's what Trump says all the time. That's what a lot of the surrogates actually say on television. It should never have been brought. But yet, it was brought. Now, don't take Alan Dershowitz's word, because he knows how. Oftentimes I get some trolls in here, and when the trolls come in, they say stuff like, "You guys are just all Trump supporters." So that's why I go digging on the other networks. I like to see what the experts on CNN or MSNBC are saying. Check out what this guy says on CNN, which basically underscores what Alan Dershowitz just said.
The burden of proof is an important one to remind everyone. It's on the prosecution, right? They need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Donald Trump broke the law. And you think, after listening to all of this, you think they fell short? How?
They fell way short, because let's...
Not short. They fell way short.
Start with reasonable doubt. What is reasonable doubt? And it's not simply a doubt based upon reason. Anytime a human being needs to make an important decision in life, if you have enough information, for example, doctor says you need open heart surgery. Doc, go ahead and schedule. I don't have a reasonable doubt. Conversely, if I say, I appreciate it, but I need a second opinion, I need more information, that is having a reasonable doubt.
And surely this jury has seen enough conflicting stuff, it's starting with not knowing what a crime is, to say they have reasonable doubt.
There is reasonable doubt all over this case.
All over the case.
Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this. Thought he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. That doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. Stormy Daniels, let's hold a pity party for her. Why do we need to know whether or not the former president wore a condom or not? It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries, for legal fees, Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family? It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Reasonable doubt is everywhere. But the judge, Judge Merchan, doesn't care. He doesn't care whatsoever. He's letting them say all this. What if anything happened between Stormy and Trump, It doesn't matter. This is supposed to be a case about violating some law that they haven't even spoke of. Nobody cares about the NDA. Nobody cares about how much she got. It was supposedly about basically hiding hush money in order to avoid campaign finance or something. So all of the tawdry details that Stormy came out, and she did an entire tour for years, went on Jimmy Kimmel, talked to everyone who would stick a microphone in her face. The fact that she still owes Trump $600,000, that kind of got overlooked. They didn't want you to talk about that. You know, it doesn't speak to her motivation. And then they brought it up again today in summation. And I'm sitting there going, why do we care what Stormy Daniels is doing? It doesn't matter. So what this guy just said, the expert on CNN, just came out and said, hey, listen, it doesn't matter whatsoever. You haven't proven the case that you wanted to prove against him, which tells me they don't care about proving the case. All they care about is getting a conviction that will inevitably be overturned. There's no doubt. I would actually go down to the Hard Rock Casino if they were taking odds and put big money on the case being overturned. And I think I'd be in a long line of people putting that money down. But that's not what they're in it for. They're in it right now to basically taint Trump and try to put him in jail. So here's who's this coming up. This is Donald Trump Jr. coming up to the podium outside.
Blanche summed it up best. If there was an MVP, if there was a GOAT of liars, it is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is the embodiment of reasonable doubt. And this entire case hinges on someone who has quite literally...
They called him today the GLOAT, G-L-O-A-T, the greatest liar of all time. They actually called him that in court. That's funny.
Literally lied to every single person and body he's ever been in front of. He's lied before, I believe it's every branch of Congress. Mm-hmm. He's lied before his wife. He's lied to every body he's ever been in front of. He's lied before, I believe it's every branch of Congress. He's lied before his wife. He's lied to bankers. He's lied to all of you in the press. And he's actually lied to that very jury. And yet...
Now that's a big one. Forget all the other ones. Just push those aside. He actually lied while he was on the stand. That should be it. That should be the end of the case. He was their star witness, and he perjured himself right in front of the jury. And they're all acting like it's no big deal. Doesn't matter. Hey, that's just Michael. He's a liar. In fact, the judge today said, not the judge, the prosecutor today said, I know he stole $30, $40, $50, $60,000 from Trump, but he had to. It's owed to him. When have you ever heard a prosecutor say it's okay to break the law? Well, they did in this court.
He's the only person of relevance that this entire case hinges on. We understand that this is a political persecution. That was evidenced today by the Biden campaign themselves holding a rally here.
Everybody saw it. Big mistake by Dementia Joe's people to bring that guy, especially. I wouldn't have said it would have been a big mistake to do a press conference. Maybe bad timing, but to bring De Niro out, and I'm sorry for the sound here, but he was outside and obviously he's pissed.
They bring in Robert De Niro, who was shot down, but apparently he needs attention because it's been a while since he's cranked out a good movie. But think about it. They bring out one actor. Remember in 2020 when every A-list actor in the world showed up for Joe Biden, they lined up one by one? Now they get one person.
So I'm going to go ahead and cut that because his sound was messed up and it was outside at that microphone. May have been some subterfuge, but you get it. He's pissed off. He's not liking the fact that what they're doing, and he understands being in that court right now, seeing the prosecutor get away with basically murder, basically saying anything that he wants to say up there, and there's nothing that anybody can do. And so it's obvious that they're out to railroad his father. They're going to put his father in jail. They're going to do whatever they can for his father. And let me see if this video sounds any better, because these guys were all outside. This is one of Trump's press people.
What you just heard from is a desperate and
good.
failing and pathetic campaign.
So these videos were them outside doing their response to what they've been seeing. And it's just outrageous. I mean, absolutely outrageous, because I can't imagine if I was sitting there and my father was up there and they were saying all this stuff and doing everything against the rules of jurisprudence. Just basically railroading him, doing everything they can to put this guy in jail. So, but now, let me see. I hope this is indoors. I hope this one counts. Here's what Karl Rove, who is no fan, mind you, who's no fan of Donald Trump. Listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, stupid mistake by the Biden campaign. They wanted to get, while all the cameras were there, they wanted to get their moment in the sun. And it was a big mistake.
Now he said that when the guy walked up, one of the Biden spokespeople, he walked up to the gaggle of microphones. He goes, "We know you guys are here, so we had to come here." So you couldn't get any press to cover your stuff, so you had to come over here. Is that what your excuse is? That's pretty sad. Huge mistake.
Politicizes the trial. Better to have waited. And then what was said, with all due respect to Mr. De Niro, who's a wonderful actor. I mean, really, the people up for grabs in this election, are they going to be... Donald Trump wants to destroy New York, destroy America, and destroy the world. And if you reelect him, he's never going to leave office. He's going to make himself a tyrant for life. Are those the kind of credible statements that are going to cause people who don't like Biden and don't like Trump but are trying to figure out who to vote for? Are they going to cause people to say, well, geez, you now told me you wanted to destroy our country? Of course he did. The people who believe that are already in the Biden camp. That's
huge. That's huge. That's what I didn't understand. You came to make this speech. You came to basically stand in front of these microphones at the courthouse and make a speech with no intention, zero intention of reaching out to the other side. The Biden-Harris campaign sent Robert De Niro out to do a hatchet job, to basically trash Trump and to trash his supporters. I'm pretty sure I've heard quite a few speeches where Dementia Joe has said he wanted to be a unifier, that he wanted to bring people together. Oh, really? Then why did you have this guy go out and make a speech at the courthouse to hopefully, persuade some people to vote no or guilty on Trump, and have De Niro lose his shit and call people lowlifes and clowns? That doesn't seem anywhere close to unifying to me. To me, that means you sent him out there to basically denigrate people. Again, you saw, I showed you the entirety of what they showed on television. There was nothing unifying, nothing healing, nothing promising, nothing of hope. It was 10 minutes of Trump sucks and his people that support him are effing clowns, and that's it. And then on his way out of town, or into town, he basically flipped off people and he got roasted by the people that were at the event, telling him he's washed up, retread, not going to watch your movies anymore, and that was it. So Karl Rove, in this instance, is very right.
Not who they should be trying to reach out to. He came close in a moment of talking about January 6th and talking about the two officers, but that might have had an impact. But this was so over the top as to simply be useless. And what a stupid mistake on the part of the Biden campaign.
Wow.
More reason why Democratic leaders are probably going to be concerned that he's the likely nominee of their party.
You wonder if this...
Big mistake. Huge mistake. Wait till the numbers come out. See, these people they all base things on numbers. How did people react? How did people take what they just saw? Instead of being smart and going, I can't have this guy go out there and be a hothead and basically insult half the country, because the other half of the country can see you insulting the other half of the country. And you just assume that the people in your corner are as demented as you are. You think it's okay. I'm going to play something for you. This was a very interesting thing. This was a black or Latino voter who woke up at the Bronx rally. I hadn't seen this before because you don't see these things on the news. So I have to dig and find these videos. When I find these videos, it really cracks me up. Listen to what she has to say.
I was a lifelong Democrat. I voted Democrat. You Puerto Rican, you know, you're Spanish, you live in the hood.
Okay, she's Puerto Rican living in the hood.
You're supposed to vote Democrat. But once you start waking up to, you know, the biggest mistake they did was mess with Trump because...
Biggest mistake they've done is mess with Trump. Right out of her mouth. I've been a lifelong Democrat. You're supposed to vote Democrat if you live in the hood. You're supposed to vote Democrat if you're Puerto Rican. You're supposed to vote Democrat if you're black. It's not even something you're supposed to question. I'm a black guy. I knew growing up. You're supposed to vote Democrat. Don't even think about changing. Republicans are bad people. It was so bad when I was growing up. I remember flipping a channel back then. Wasn't flipping anything. It was turning the channel. And I would, 3 channels, CBS, ABC, and NBC. And I remember one time I flipped the channel, and Billy Graham was doing a revival. And I was told by one of my relatives, turn that off. Those people are crazy. You don't ever want to listen to that. Those people are crazy. You are told from a very young age, when you're a black kid or a Puerto Rican kid, don't even embrace these people. Don't give them any air. Don't talk to Republicans. Luckily, I was good in football. I ended up going to a white prep school. And I'm like, well, these people don't have horns coming out of their heads. And these people got some really cute girls. And these people, they're fun to be around. Oh, they're Republicans. Why have I been lied to all my life? And then I got to college. And I was the only black kid that basically swore or pledged, as it is, to a white fraternity. I know I got in because I played football. I know they chose me because I was a football player. But man, those are some good times. And these kids weren't like the kids in college today. They were crazy, partying, fun dudes to be around. I was lied to as a young age. Unfortunately for some of these people, like this young woman, they don't find out about it until later in life. It's been something they've carried on their back forever. And like she said, you F around and found out because you messed with the wrong guy.
I woke up a lot of people. And what they're doing now is waking up even more people. So you would never guess all these people here for Trump. You would never see it. Before, you couldn't even see that in 2020. You wouldn't see it, but now you're seeing it. The worst thing they did is do what they do. What they doing to him it's just making it easier for us to go on the other side.
F-A-F-O. If you guys know what F-A-F-O means, that's the definition of what she just said. You decided to poke the bear. You decided to take people for granted. You decided to be like Robert De Niro and call everybody lowlifes. These are people who have been considered lowlifes all their lives. They know what it's like to be called a lowlife because they want something different. These are people who have been told, take the government cheese, take the bus pass, and be happy. That's all you need. That's all you need in life. We'll get you the check on the 15th of the month. You're all good. That's all you need to do. Oh, you want to get some housing? Go to this project. Go ahead. That's where you live. It's all free. Don't worry about it. They didn't realize that people aspire for more. That inherently people want more. But they've been told you can't have that because we'll take care of you. F you. I don't need you to take care of me. I need you to just get out of my way and give me opportunity. And now, these people are figuring that out.
What they're doing to us, the American people and the working class, you making us go somewhere else. You losing votes. I would never, ever, ever, ever vote for them ever again.
I will never, ever, ever vote for them again. Them being Democrats. The scales have been removed. People are seeing, and that's why they're freaking out. That's why people like Bob De Niro go to press conferences and scream because they don't know how to react. It's falling apart in front of their very eyes. So all we can do is put this guy in jail. And we think that's going to work. but it's not. It's not going to work. Chris says government is getting too big. Worst thing in history ever. BLM, the new BLM, Black Lives MAGA. Hey, Loretta, thank you very much. There's Loretta, I've never met you, but thank you. You know how, like, some of these people always say sister and brother. We're all brothers and sisters. We just need to understand that. We need to be able to cross the aisle and reach out a hand. When I go to church, and I'm sure many of you guys and ladies go to church, and the biggest thing I like in church, I mean, yeah, the pastor gives a great message. I love that too. But when they say, you know, early in the service, turn around and say hi to somebody. And then you never know where you're going to be sitting in church, and you turn around and say hi to somebody, and that person might be white. That person might be Asian. That person might be black. That person may be a Democrat. That person may be a Republican. But you know what? We're all in the same place at that moment, and we know that there's a better life for us. And of course, we shake hands, we hug, we do all these things. This week I went to church. I'm just going to spend a second here. And I'm not going to cry, but I just got compelled. I mean, just compelled. Our pastor was up there, and I just noticed some people were, you know, shaking his hand and doing some stuff. And there was a crowd around him. He got up on stage. And when he got up on stage, he brought up a guest pastor because he didn't have time to prepare his sermon for the week. Well, it turns out, as he announced to those of us who didn't know, that his wife lost their baby a couple days beforehand. She thought she was giving birth, and when they went in, the baby, they couldn't find a heartbeat, and the baby died. And I was like, "Ooh, that sucks. That's really bad. I mean, that's awful. I feel really bad for him." And then what he said next just broke me, just completely broke me. He said his wife and he were able to say goodbye and hold the deceased baby. And I thought to myself, I'm done. I am completely done. I'm done. This is what it's all about. Understanding that there is so much more for us than hearing Robert De Niro call us lowlives and scum and everything else, and these people trying to put Trump in jail because we just want to live our lives. Get out of the way. When I say nothing else mattered at that point, I'm like, what troubles do I have? What troubles do any of us have? This guy's holding a deceased baby that he and his wife were looking forward to for 8 and 9 months. And the baby's gone. And he's up on stage praising the Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm here today. I'm like, oh my God. I need some of that. I need that in my life. I don't need Robert De Niro in my life. I need some of that. That grace that you felt, that absolution, how you just felt that inner peace, I need some of that. I can't imagine. Can you imagine holding your deceased baby that you and your wife, your girlfriend maybe, have waited 8 or 9 months for? And it's like, oh, it didn't make it. Praise God. Ho, ho, ho. Robert De Niro kissed my behind. But anyway, that's what it meant to me. I don't care what color you are or what your background is. When it comes to fighting for our country, we all need to make a stand and fight. Absolutely. Completely agree with you. We have to fight. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So let me play something for you. This is 26 seconds. I don't know if you've seen this. Like I said, I'm the one that goes around and finds these videos all over the place. But this was Kash Patel. And Kash Patel was who used to be in the Trump administration, who will be back in the Trump administration when he's voted in, went on Tim Pool's show yesterday. And they were talking about what happens if they put Trump in jail. This is kind of amazing what his response was. Take a listen to this. Okay, let's go.
That's what they wanted, because the judge in this case and the prosecutors know that they'll never publicly admit, if they jail Donald Trump, he's going to win overnight. Mm-hmm. If Donald Trump is found guilty, which because it's a rigged system, there's a likelihood that he might, they are going to have to allow Donald Trump to stay out on bond while he appeals this bogus trial. Otherwise, this country is going to go nuts. Well, Trump got...
I can't deny that. Can you imagine right now? Two things are going to happen. One, if they convict him, he's going to win in a landslide. If they decide that they're going to revoke his bail and say you got to go to jail right now, not only will you win in a landslide, this country will erupt. I'm hoping people can keep the peace. My thought tonight was just to prepare you for what may come. Take the good as it is. Yes, he may get acquitted. There may be a hung jury. But take the real red pill at this point. And that red pill is, what happens if they convict him? Number one. That's awful. Number two, what happens if they convict him and stick him in jail and say he's remanded to custody? I don't think Dementia Joe and his cohorts have thought that through. What that will do to this country. Maybe they have. Maybe they realize, hey, now we got him. If we put him in jail, we'll break this country. It's what they want. I fear for what may happen. And I still have this here. Let me just make sure if I have it. I just want to show you again. CBS News has reported that the Secret Service has met with New York jail officials in preparation of Trump being taken into custody. I understand you have to prep for this, but Judge Merchan could have said right away today, could have made a statement, listen, told the lawyers, I understand we may be moving to a conviction, but if we get there, of course he's going to be out pending appeal. We're not going to hey, give me your passport and get in jail. But they're preparing for it nonetheless. And so if they are preparing for it, if the Secret Service is somehow figuring out how they're going to prepare for a president to go to Rikers Island or wherever, then the question remains as we get ready to close today is, what are you going to prepare? How are you going to prepare? And what are you going to do if they somehow decide to A, convict him, and B, revoke his bond and say you've got to sit in jail? At that point, each and every one of us, to the best of our ability, to the best that we are able, needs to become almost Trump evangelists. We have to scream from the rooftops. We have to make everybody know that we are not going to stand for this. I'm not talking about anything violent. I'm just going to say so many people have got to come out of the closet and say what they really feel. Put the red hat on. Put on the t-shirt. Come out and say, I'm a Trump supporter. You don't like it. You can kiss my ass. This is wrong. Because they're hoping that you stay silent. They're hoping that you're afraid to let people know what you really feel. That's how you lose your republic. That's how you lose your democracy. That's how you lose America, when they can shut you up and put him in jail and think they're going to just steamroll their way through it. He has the best attorneys available. There are going to be attorneys out there that will agree to do things pro bono, but it won't matter if the appellate court can't expedite an appeal. So if they can't expedite an appeal and he has to go to jail, then we need to go to rallies on our own. We need to go to rallies with surrogates. We need to have Donald. We need to have Ivanka. We need to have Eric. We need to have Laura Trump. We need to have Tim Scott. We need to have everybody create rallies across the country and let these idiots know we're not going to stand for this shit. It ain't going to happen. I'll be the first one to sign up and work on anybody who wants to hold a rally in any park anywhere in the country. We have to be ready to stand up. You have to be prepared. If you're going to stand with him after he's convicted, which is quite likely, it's going to take a different kind of you, a different kind of me. Otherwise, we're up the creek without a paddle. They will run over us. We will be led by people like Bob De Niro. We won't be able to do anything. They will run the election. They will count the ballots the way they want to count the ballots. You have got to be prepared to fight harder and longer than you've ever fought. Otherwise, I can't even tell you what may happen. They are going with their end game, and they've gone balls to the wall with it, and they've put their pedal to the metal, and every cliche you want to say, they are going to try and put this guy in jail and probably revoke his bail and make him sit in Rikers. So the only question in parting that I have to leave for you is, what are you going to do about it? What are you prepared to do about it? That's my show for this evening, because what I saw today tells me that they are ready to do whatever they can to put him in jail. Do me a favor, people.
Come on,
hit a like
show
button,
some love and click that like
because what will
button.
happen is this thing will continue to grow and people will see it if you hit the like button. But we got a couple days before they probably give it to the jury. And what you're going to see is, if it goes to a very quick decision, that probably means he got off. If you start seeing deliberations go for a couple days, that means there's a couple people that may be holding out. We need one. But you understand, there's 31 counts. 31 counts of whatever. Who knows whatever. Actually, I got that wrong. If it's a quick jury, that means they probably convicted him. A longer jury deliberation, if it goes for 2 or 3 days, then they know somebody there is fighting for him. Pray for this jury. Pray that somebody is fighting for him. God forbid we see a jury turn around in 1 or 2 hours. It's going to be really bad. And then you're going to see every single news station call him a convicted felon, and anyone who follows him a complete moron. Time to take your side. I'm not going to say what I really want you to do, but I think you need to know. And also, begin prepping. And I don't just mean for him going to jail. Things may get crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. There may be some idiots out there who do some crazy stuff. And I wouldn't want you not to have the food that you need at home, or the water, flashlights, radio. Depending upon where you live, things may get nuts. And Barry, you sound like a doomsayer. I'm just saying be prepared. I'm saying don't get caught flat-footed. That's the only thing I'm saying. I definitely want him to be acquitted. I definitely want to see this guy walk out of there head held high. But I also have to be a realist and understand that there are a lot of forces fighting against him, even some on the Republican side. They may smile and go up and make their speeches, but you know there's a bunch of people on the Republican side who would just love to have him go away. Just come on. If we move him, we can again be the Washington Generals. In case you guys don't know what that means, the Washington Generals were the team that the Harlem Globetrotters beat up on every single time they played. And there are a certain amount of people in the Republican Party who enjoy being the Washington Generals. That's the role they play. That's why, Mike Johnson and some of these guys seem to be falling over. I don't know if they got something on them, but they are definitely in the category of the Washington Generals. All right, so we've been going for 90 minutes here. Guys, I thank you very, very much. Again, hit the like button.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
I'll keep you updated. If I have to go live again tomorrow, I will. So thank you very, 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 very much for tuning in, and stay strong.